Evening, folks. Oh, now I gotta bend. Is that what I gotta do here? Alright, I got this new light. I got an actual holder for my camera. And it's gotta stand back a ways. I mean, it's a little dark, but when is it not? Both figuratively and literally. Alright, welcome back to the Amazing Conspiracy Realist channel. It's pretty awesome. I mean, this light is like a wheel. It looks like the wheel of samsara. It's like spinning. It's pretty awesome. Got it at Walmart. It's such, never mind. All right, already start off to a bad start. Already off to a rocky start. Okay, let me try that again. Welcome back to the Amazing Conspiracy Realist channel. I am your host, Brian Anthony Cirillo. I use my real name on this show. My stage name sillily became Lex Naturalis when I wanted to call the name of my one-man band. I wanted to name it after natural law in Latin, Lex Naturalis. Of course, it's funny because I went to open mics and stuff, and the people, by at open mic, I put my name down as Lex Naturalis because I was going to go up on stage with my one man act, and people would just say, "Hey, Lex, Lex." It's like I became like Lex Luger or Lex Luthor. I'm the only person that even references Luger and Luther in the same because I'm a big WWE guy too, but that's just my ego getting attached to all that stupid shit anyway. So anyway, I digress once again. And we're going to talk about why I digress and why I, was stagnant for so long and what have I been doing? And you guys, a lot of you guys out there are gonna perk up. You're really gonna tune in now because now I'm not pointing my fingers at others. I'm pointing my fingers directly at myself. That's what shadow work is all about. But we also, during shadow work, we acknowledge how we were duped by others, how others have wronged us. Yes, we do that in shadow work. Yes. Because if we lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that someone's not fucking with us, well, then that's not helping either. That's not doing the shadow work, right? So, one of the things you do is you point fingers at yourself and you say, I hate, and I obviously talk a lot about how I hate what I see, and I try to almost make it seem like, well, it's like they're enslaving me with their ignorance, man. I'm almost the victim, man. And I never really say that because I never really want to fully identify as the victim. But what are the things that Brian is doing wrong? Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you that have looked into me and might know things about me. And there's a lot of things I've admitted on this. I pretty much let it all hang out on this show. Throughout my series, I've admitted a lot of stuff about myself. I try to be as completely transparent as possible. But yeah, I mean, one of the things about me is that I've right up until about last night, I fell and have been falling for the meat paradigm. The good old meat paradigm. Gotta have your meat, gotta have your protein. Don't you love a juicy burger or see, this is the thing. It's like when it's something dealing with pleasure, it's easy. It's so much harder to break the control because the idea that the same meanies that did 9/11 and the same meanies that did that are behind all the secret societies and the and the brainwashing women and making them only like shitty guys, like all that stuff's going on, and that's easy to hate that because you see that and it affects your life negatively and you feel negative. It already makes you feel bad. It already makes me feel bad. A lot of the paradigms that I broke through are the ones that already made me feel bad. Now, luckily for me, that was most of them. Most of the false paradigms out there make me feel really, really bad to begin with, and they haunted my dreams, nightmares, about secret societies, and the nightmares about awful agendas like the ones we talk about, and dark queens and things like that, both gay and also regular women. Dark, so that's the thing. And so what was the thing that the meat paradigm is just, it's just like, oh, well, this is just good old fashioned American eating, just all these ideas, dumb ideas about food that I had in my head that are all base level, desire based ideas. And then the people, what Mark has now referred to as Team Humanity, Team Humanity. See, a lot of this show is commentary on what on earth is happening because I'm a huge fan of that show. Beyond fan, I don't want to say I'm a disciple because Mark. I'm just saying I'm trying to put my knowledge out there, and like I know as much as like David Icke. I know a lot of shit. I read David Icke's work before Mark. I read Michael Dysgenics' work before Mark. I look at their reference material before Mark. I went through all the Project Camelot episodes before I got even heard of Mark Passio. And so thank God for Mark though, because even with all my knowledge and familiarity with David Icke and stuff, I was still like, identifying with it as an anarcho-communist because that's where I found myself, the milieu I found myself with, and feminism, and for some reason I was still, and this was back in the early 2010s, so it was like, oh, maybe us conspiracy guys can put a little bug in all those liberals' ears, and they're not too different from us. Oh, wait a second, whoa, I just put my hand in a can of worms. Didn't realize it. But the meat paradigm has got everybody fooled. Everybody, everywhere you go, and there's so many justifications for it. And listen, every time, whoever you are out there watching that would tell me that I should still eat meat, and that meat's still good, and this and that. I know you want to tell me that. And guess what? Telling me that that's one form of mind control that actually works on me because I immediately go back to how much I enjoy eating the food that I've been eating. And then I just let that be the justification for doing it. And then, it's like, oh, Anna, and then like, yeah. Nightmares about animal slaughter? Oh yeah, that's still one that comes up, and it's like it's horrible, it's disgusting, it's awful, and then I know why I do it, and then I watch my own mind control program go off, and I see the progression in which I take to deny the truth, and I go, oh, well, I'm not going to think about the animal that I'm eating, I'm just going to think about the food itself now, and the style in which it was made, right? It's a hamburger, it's this fancy meal that we just eat that's really good, and of course it's got cheese, and who knows, and like, see, the thing is, one of the things about me that was true is like, anyone that you ask is like that I love cheese, I love pizza, I'm Italian, so it's like, what? It's all about the cheese, it's all about, the idea of, basically my personality and who I am being separate from cheese is like, oh my God, how is that possible? How can that be possible? Well, I mean, luckily, it's not great for you, but there's other, substitutes right now that I'm trying out. Not trying out. I mean, I had them for a while. Substitute. Basically, if you want to have macaroni meatballs, I have the macaroni. I'll have veggie meatballs and cheese, just the cheese substitute. Not like the cheese food culture, but they have this organic cheese you get in the produce section. So it's I've been doing that, and I feel fine, feel great. Protein, and then people say protein. How are you gonna get your like? There's all these protein products everywhere that don't have meat in them, and people are. And I'm not saying they're also all great either. But you still have people, even with that in existence, going, oh, where are you going to get your protein if you don't get your meat? And it's just, that's the thing. And I figured out what the repeat, because there's always one, the thing that gives it away, the thing that makes it not fact and mind control is when you start hearing it's being said by everyone. Because then you don't know, are you just saying this because everyone else said it? Or do you actually know? And they're going to say, oh yeah, no, I know. No, when you're an idiot for not knowing, because everyone else, and then again, is it because everyone else knows, or because you actually have that knowledge? It's like, there's two different things. There's collective consensus, and then there's the actual looking into it for yourself. And that's where people just go, no, I won't. It's just like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you do that? That's all I have to say. What is wrong with you that you can't do that? So yeah, here's the thing that I kept forgetting over and over and over again, no matter how many times I heard Mark say it or another presenter. It's like the meat and the food is poison, and it's making you poison. It's spiritual poison as well. I mean, obviously it's physical poison, but it affects your chi and your juju, right? And what does it do? And so a lot of it is, it does make it does make you turn towards the opposite gender. For it, men, and it means turning towards the opposite gender in arguably you could say a negative expression of the opposite gender, right? Because I'm bisexual, I've you know messed with transsexual ideas, in the past, like where, and stuff. So, but is that for me internally? It feels like it's partially an organic thing. Like there is a true, rare type of fluid naturally of gender. That's the thing. You understand, but you under from there how you're going to express and stay balanced in that expression. That's a conscious effort. Now, when you're dealing with the mass population of mind-controlled maniacs and people that are in the LGBTQ who otherwise would have been like me, but instead they, and so let me get back to the original point regarding meat. Yes, so the hormones and the things that are injected into food and meat, as in dairy especially, are changing. They're gender bending chemicals, so, and it's like, so, that means not necessarily that you're going to be turning transgender. This reminds me of more so because what the food that they're putting in is all the stuff that the big chads of the world, the chads, all the guys that everyone looks up to, right? Super fit guys, they're their thing. At least the ones that I know. This one guy personally that I know, he would say like, we, obviously bringing in the Darwinian, can't leave Darwinian thought out of the equation. So of course he goes, big buff guy, buff, looks like a wrestler, and he's like, hey, so yeah, man, yeah, you gotta, we evolved to eat dairy. Cheese is in our DNA now. We evolved to eat dairy. Dairy makes us strong. Dairy makes us big. And then even like, of course the classic, drink your milk, drink your mother. You want to be strong, don't you? And so it's like, okay, wait a second. Let me take a step back because I know all you people are full of shit about everything else. So there's no way you repeating this stuff over and over again and then having the dark occult be putting all the poisons in the meat, and then you repeat how good it is for you and how it makes you strong, and then it really feminizes you, which means that you don't want to fight back against tyranny. That's the main thing about it. It isn't being gay, but I mean, there's something I'm willing to admit. See? It could be. I ate cheese, dairy, like crazy, and still pretty much do. I decided yesterday that I really don't want to do it as much. And then here I am telling you, oh, I'm trans, and look at me, I like to dress feminine. Like I do feel like turned towards the opposite gender. And I'm not going to say it's totally, I'm sure a lot of you out there are going to say it's totally 100%. Yes, you are one of those. But I mean, I think that because of the information that I've taken in, that and I've also taken testosterone as a supplement, and I have a story about that. Now that's a good one. Taking testosterone as a supplement, and it's just expensive, but I think it's worth it now. That I really re-educated myself about this again, and it's important. And I remember testosterone when I was mad on that. Well, I'm a mad dog maniac, and I'm like, it's hard for me to calm down. It's hard for me to like. Maintain, but it's like I liked who I was on it. Other people, they probably didn't like certain aspects of me being on it, like I was on edge or whatever. But like I felt like I'm getting shit done. So maybe it was a little bit of overkill because the first woman that ever explained to me that I was actually masculine was Maria West. She's like, no, dude, you're masculine. She saw me as because the thing that she saw that she didn't have in her brain that every other woman that I mainly encountered did is just the idea like, oh, again, they think that anger is you're bringing out your toxic feminine, you know, you remind me of a woman, you're being a bitch, you're angry, right? And so that's how they flip it. And so and then caring about things, right? So I don't want to eat meat anymore, ma, or whoever. I don't think it's a good idea. Oh no, he cares about the animals. He doesn't want to eat meat. He doesn't want to be strong. He doesn't want to be a big strong guy. And see, this is just your programming talking. It's like I'm not like it's like people think, oh, you're attacking your mother. You're just like, no, I'm attacking the programming that's affected my mother. And people that are basically, it's just the idea. It's like as soon as you say, I'm done with this meat thing. How are you gonna get your protein? It's just like, wait a second, hold the phone. It's just like, and plus everything you've heard that there's all these studies about how good it is for you. That's because this is again, so the ultimate coming of age moment. It was like, okay, so this is a death cult ritual going on everywhere, right? And it doesn't do any good for the energy of the planet or the energy of the people on the planet or the animals that you're supposed to be taking care of. Like even New Age spiritualists that I've talked to have said, well, they're here for us. The Creator said that made these animals here for us to eat, and because that is good for us. Yes, no, you're a maniac. You are a maniac. Okay, natural law says you cannot violate. You don't violate. Actively aggress upon another living being. It's like they didn't know how to, and it's just, and so, the whole thing, the slaughterhouses everywhere, it's like, I don't really need to explain it anymore. Like, I mean, I think that because I keep still hearing the arguments of meat eaters in my head. And I just know that there are other sources of protein out there. There's no way that you're getting the information that you need to be getting because every other source of information that you have is poisoned. So it's like all the information you get is poison, all the food you get is poison, all the drink you get is poison, and then you're going to turn around and say, of course it's not, because maybe it's had an effect on you. That's the whole thing. It has an effect on you, so you can't see reality. You can't see dark things. You can't see in the dark, and that's where you're at. It's pitch black in the world now. You can't see it. Maybe there's something's been fucked up. Something's been taken out. And since it's been taken out of everybody, then this is where all you get all the confusion and all different disorder. Everyone's on the spectrum now. Everyone's on. None of these chemicals are having an effect on anybody. And it's like, well, there's no studies to show that have been be decreed by the people that you're saying that are doing it. It's like, yeah, of course not. It's just like everything else. They're not. There's a firewall between you and the information you receive about it. And so I don't. And the whole point is like I just don't. Why in the world would I, the amazing conspiracy realist, buy into the world telling me that hey, we just killed this innocent thing and you got to eat it now, and you need to. And if you don't, you won't survive. People survive like that when they didn't know better, when they didn't have any other options. That's like a cannibalistic, last resort thing. And of course, because the Darwinian paradigm is so strong, we are in the wild. Let's act as if we are. And then even though our society is, sophisticated beyond that, we're still going to apply the rules as if we were still cavemen. When are you people going to stop doing this shit? It really pisses me off. Before I knew how bad, the mind control was, I just thought certain people were, really annoying. I just thought certain people are so fucking annoying, and they're so fucking stupid, and they all say the same dumb shit. And then I realized, wait, that's everybody. It's like, you shouldn't hate people for their beliefs. Well, you're not. It's not belief. You just don't want the truth. You put something else in place of the truth, and now you're being attacked. This is an attack. And so this is why, it's like, people eat their meat and dairy and their processed food, and they read all these science journals and make all these justifications and excuses for it, and then they think they're smart. And this is why I was talking to my friend the other day. It's just like, it's like, man, if I was transgender, I would be the hottest fucking. I would try to be I would, try to my best to really exude the energy and the look and feel of some of the hottest women on earth. And hotness equals fitness. Okay, now hot is like an occult word. There's some dark reason why people say hot that I should look into, because I say it a lot. But here's the thing. It just means fit. If we just said, maybe if we should instead of saying hot, we said, oh, she's fit. Look at her. She's quite fit there. It's like almost like the British thing. She's fit. Look at that, fit. That's what it means, okay? That's what it means. A healthy, balanced human being who's physically fit is genuinely going to be pretty hot. And that's why I'm bisexual, because I get that. And so when I see it in a man, I'm like, damn. When I see it in a woman, I'm like, damn. Because I'm seeing an actual scientific thing that when you really work on your appearance, like, cool things happen. You start to look really good. Oh, I just hate having to plug in every single variable for everybody all the time. And it's just, and then Mark's on the other side of the world. He's not on the other side of the world, but he's doing that too. And then it's like, he used to talk about the emails he would get from dumb people. And I'd be like, man, who the hell is emailing him, asking him all this stuff and saying stupid things like, if you don't talk about what we want you to talk about, Mark, we're going to think that you're a CIA agent. Like, it's like, I mean, it's unbelievable. But then I started working with people in my own field of getting the truth out there, through music, and it's just like, yeah, you get sycophantic people who, they might even like give you lip service. They might really think they're on the same page as you. They might really look up to you and stuff. But then when it comes to the actual message, like they might just be, it's like what he says, what Margaret said before. It's like, oh, great job, man, great job, really like what you're doing, but I don't have any idea what it is. But and you're not gonna like deny someone's support and respect, but it's like same time it's like you wonder, like, do they even have any idea what I'm actually like, what I'm actually all about? Because it's like, this is the thing. What happens when I get in relationships with people? It's like they have an idea about you, and you being into the occult actually could make their idea very wrong, without even them, you knowing it or them. And then all of a sudden, it's like one day they're like, oh my God, you're all about that? You're into that? That's what you think? Oh my God, I thought I knew you, but now you've changed. It's like, no, you didn't know me. I never changed. You just were pretending the whole time. And I like it when people like to have a conversation with you, but they're only having a conversation with themselves. And so you're like, they're in their own head thinking about what they think you're going to say and responding to that before you even say a word. Now, I guess a lot of this happens when, like, I'm hanging around people who've had a few drinks, and I'm always just like, why are you being like this? And they're just like, I'm drunk. I'm like, oh. But I mean, at the same time, this is what you run into. It's like people having a conversation with you, but all of your responses to what they're saying are already worked out in their head. So now they're just going to just keep going. They're just going to give you their answering and responding for you. And you're just sitting there going, yep, yep, yep. And then it's just like, if you have a slight correction, no, we can't do slight corrections. We're moving on. It's very hard to communicate with people. It's very easy. It's easy to communicate with people. If you're not aware of the scale of epigenetic control that's happening, well, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, you just need to learn a few social skills and learn how to communicate with people. It's easy. If you're not awake to what's really going on in the world, yeah, sure, it's a piece of cake, learning communication and getting people to like you. That's what the whole world is about now. Just get people to like us, man. Just get people to like you, and everything will work out great. Don't get people to like you, it won't be fun. I guarantee it. I was there. I remember when no one liked me. Then I learned all these techniques on how to manipulate people into liking me, and now they like me. It's like, all right. I'm done. I'm so done with that. That's why I love my 30s, and I say it every time. It's like, because you're just done. You're done. You're done, and you also don't. It doesn't have any value. The thing. It's just dating and then marriage. It's like I mean, it's like, and see, even that is giving into the agenda. Oh, I don't want to date. I don't want to see anybody. I want to be all alone. Well, that's what the elites want for me too. So the only thing I can do is do what I can do from where I'm at. Because there ain't nobody coming along, like there's no girls lining down the block saying, oh man, we want to be with the amazing conspiracy realist. We really think it's cool that you're in 2 bands. We really think it's cool that you're one of the only people that's putting together punk, hardcore, and metal shows around here in this general region. I mean, in this very specific region of the North Country. No. There's even girls that I've dated, and they brought up my music, and they're just like, man, like, I just feel bad for some of the other bands out there, who are just like not as good as you guys. It's like, oh man, it's so unfair to them that you're good. And this has been in the past, I don't know, like 5-6 years. It's like, wow, it's like mega level mind control, mega level, just everything is on high. Oh boy. Oh, it's just so exhausting. But, I'm going to try to move on from my life and just give up on the meat, because the meat and the dairy is making me weak. And I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. And I don't want that, to be continuing in society. And it's like, I've heard enough from enough people and all the wrong paradigms that, it's perfectly fine to eat meat, and it's not good, it's not the right thing to do, and I'm sure a lot of the karma and a lot of the all the horrible things that happen to us in our lives, I'm sure there are plenty of pig souls out there and cow souls that are smiling down, saying, you deserved it, assholes. And now I can say to you, spirit cows, I salute you. And I am very, very sorry for what I've done. But I am not truly sorry if I continue to do it. So, may the cow gods and spirits, those who have passed, against their will, against their rights, their lives taken for no reason, because someone was ignorant and didn't know how to feed themselves properly. Shame. Shame, shame, shame on you, Team Humanity. Now it's time to point the finger back, because I recognize this. You still haven't. They're not here for you to eat. They're here for you to take care of, be stewards to. Be respectful. Learn natural law through them. Oh my God, there's a porcupine over there. He looks awfully he might poke me. He's got all those spikes. That's pretty scary. I know he's not doing anything to us. He's just eating that, bark over there. But I don't know. I don't like the look of that guy. You can go kill him. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Then the porcupine's in the wrong, not you. Yeah. All right. Well, I've had enough of that, and I was wrong for doing it, and I was wrong for not seeing that. Yeah. Certain hormones and chemicals, they can make you turn towards a negative expression, a negative gender expression. Right? So, I know some of these big burly guys, and they say to me, Brian, sometimes, and I never say this to anybody, but I feel like I could say it to you. And I'm like, you can say it to me. And they go, well, I feel like a little boy inside sometimes, and I just don't know why. And, yeah, some of these people are the same people that say that we evolved to eat cheese. So, go figure. Go figure. The world is so random. It's just so random. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic for anyone who didn't get that, which there are people out there who don't get sarcasm. I've had some people say to me, like, wow, I realized you were being sarcastic the other day. I'm so glad I finally got it. Oh Lord. Well, I don't know what else to say. I gotta go to band practice soon. I am doing, instead of dragging my feet on De-Occulted, which is a series where I read books and review them. I'm still doing that, and so instead of just doing that and having stuff come out only a few times a year, I I'm doing it like I said. I think I mentioned it last time. It's going to be a deprogramming course. And Mario West helped me find a contact that can help me create a website. So through the website, there's going to be the course. There's going to be the um, show, the ACRC live show here. Episode presentations, de-occulted presentations. And there's also going to be a music show, some type of show about music. And, you know, um, I of course, just based on my knowledge, I can stay on topic with that. We might go off topic. We might get into some areas that are just not interesting to people. And, it's my channel. And so maybe you learn something about something you didn't know about on the music channel. The music channel is just going to discuss. It's going to discuss culture, the changes in culture, the different decades of time. It's not just music. It's actually like a study, a study of the decades, a study of how things changed over time. In a lot of ways, how things got worse over time. In a lot of ways, how music has been de-emphasized, and the result of music being de-emphasized, and the musicians that I think are doing good work, the musicians that I think are doing good work, but it's dark work, like it's good music, but it's not for the good reason. So there's a lot to that, and I'm gonna bring on guests on the show who are people that I played music with, and let's just say that you might not be a huge. I mean, they're friends of mine, and I think that they have potential. Um, I don't want to insult them because they might be watching or they might watch the show, but I mean, they just haven't come as far along, let's say, in the spiritual journey as I have. I think they might be humble enough to admit that because I don't think they make any claim that they do. But yeah, there'll be people on like my bassist Nick. He's a nice guy. He's a fun guy. He really is a fun guy, energetic guy, younger guy. Very open-minded guy. And he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Um, and he's not someone I have to sugarcoat words with. That's why I do respect the guy. I do. And Brian Britton probably be on. We'll probably be discussing a lot with Brian from DCP, Death Cult Pharmaceutical. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure this. Yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking out loud. It's really anyway, but so that's coming up, and then the one last thing I have to do is the card of the day, and we're gonna use the Path of the Fool. Actually take a quick intermission, and we'll do the card of the day. So get a drink, get a cup of water, do something, and I'll just get set up here for a minute. If you could bear with me, if you have respect for me this far, or either way, card of the day is coming up in about a minute or so. Luckily, I started the show earlier this week. I just wanted to do it like right when I get home from my day of bullshit that needs to change. All right, so I'm using the Path of the Fool book, and I'm gonna go over it every time. People don't know, it's written by Michael Sarian. Taroscopic meanings of the 78 Arcana. So, oh man, running into issues. Just give me a second. And it goes through the different Kabbalistic correspondences to each card. It goes over the modality in terms of Heideggerianism, or cardinal fixed mutable modes. So it references a lot of philosophies and ancient traditions, and it corresponds those philosophies and ancient traditions with a specific card. With any card that you deal, there's going to be that correspondence. Okay? Because many tarot people don't know this, and if you told them it, they'd just be like everyone else. Poo poo. That's not what I heard. That no one ever did that. People do it. It's called taking the 4 suits, recognizing that they're the 4 arts of divination, which is tarot, Kabbalah, astrology, and numerology. And it's right in the tarot. The tarot shows you that's what it is. And again, people can't read correctly. They can't understand the information they read, and certainly with a pictorial type of situation where a picture tells a story, they don't have the cognition for that either. Folks, I remember when I was on the bus when I was a little kid with my friend, and he was really good at math, and he was doing great in math, but he was in speech class, and he wasn't doing good in art and literature and reading and writing. And he said, that's okay. He had like 4 brothers who were way older than him, who had already figured out that, the things that I'm good at are de-emphasized in society. The things that he's good at, sports and math, that's what numbers, so they could, not math so he could do any sacred, geometry or numerology. It's obviously math so he could be a finance guy, work on numbers and for money purposes, and so, yeah, he basically told me, well, it doesn't even matter. It's not even important, reading and writing. My brothers told me that as long as I could do good at sports and do well in math and science, that, that I'll be fine. That's all this world really values. He didn't say that's all this world values, but that was the idea. That was the message he was trying to give to me as a little kid who was immature, just like, yeah, well, who cares? Just trying to one up, one kid trying to one up another kid. Well, my brother said that all that stuff that you're good at doesn't count and doesn't matter. And people don't care about that. And I just thought he was being a dick in the moment. He was just being an asshole. He was just jealous. But then he was being a dick. He was being jealous. But guess what? The world conforms to the thing that he was saying. He is right. The world does de-emphasize these things. And even my own members of my own family don't admit, like, oh, I'm not very good at literature. I'm not very good at reading what I've understanding what I've read. I'm not really good at understanding metaphors or anything like that. And these are the same people who demand that there's definitely nothing nefarious going on and that it's just about what they say it's about, and it's just the people that they say are doing it and how they say are doing it, and it's like, and then they even admit, I can't read between the lines, I can't do any of that. And it's like, well, all of the things that people are saying, you're getting a chemical concoction from all sides that keep you from being able to think in this way. So all you're doing is admitting that, yes, the mind control and the chemical concoction is present in the world and it does work. I don't even know if I would even believe people in the Truth and Freedom movement if it wasn't for the people who denied it so hard, trying so hard to deny it, and then proving it every step of the way without realizing it. But anyway, we're going to do the card of the day. And tarot is the kind of thing that people like that are not good. They wouldn't be good at it. And so the fact that, astrology is not real and tarot is for crazies, people latch onto that so hard because guess what? It takes a different type of cognition to understand it, and they're so thankful that that's not valued in the world because they don't have that cognition. And all I can say to those people is, well, go fuck yourselves. Learn how to read and understand information. Stop being a douchebag. Try that. All right. Cards. What do we have to say today? Or what do we have to learn today? What are we supposed to be learning today? What is the message for me today? What is the message for you today? Oh, God. Oh. All right, let's see. Oh, almost there. All right, let's check it out, kids. Oh my God, Seven of Swords. Oh, I love this and hate this guy. This guy is a disaster. You know, he's walking with. This is humanity. This is Team Humanity. They're walking. Look at how he's holding those swords. He's holding them from the bottom blade. They're gonna. Oh my God! Can you imagine? And he's gonna go try to pick up those other two. You know he's gonna do it. He's looking at it like I could do it. He's just like, oh, I could do it. I could do it. Oh my God! But on the positive end, we'll start. It always starts off with the positive, so there's positivity to the card too. Um, you know, individuality, uniqueness, idiosyncratic behavior, original thinking, novel ideas, genius, eccentricity. You know, because this could also be a trick. This could also be some type of magician's trick, a very clever optical illusion of some sort. So or just this is his talent, like he could hold all the swords, and he's gonna probably pick up this one with his teeth, and the other one like balancing on his foot. He could be an expert swordsman. Looking at the positive end of the card. So eccentricity, insight, extraordinary experiences, roads less traveled, going against the flow. But then, see, and I love how Michael represents the information and the energy. Well, you can't really see, but I mean, there's only really a paragraph written for the positive side. Now, some cards, like I think the World, it's like there's so much written. He writes an essay for the positive side, and then for the negative side, he writes, a a very little. But for this one, he writes very little for the positive, and then he writes a lot for the negative. So let's see what he has to say for the negative aspects of this card that I already kind of alluded to. Acting for and thinking of the welfare of others without recognition and reward. Now, that's considered a negative thing when you're overly altruistic. And then, because then it's not about you doing the good thing. It's about you doing it, boasting about doing it, and then making other people feel bad for not doing as much as you. That's what all these charities that can funnel back to the elite anyway. That's what they make. That's why they're there. They're there to make people feel really good about giving money to a good cause so they could shame everybody else who doesn't. And I know people that were very philanthropic like that, and they're always saying, "Well, what have you done? What have you done? What causes have you supported that have been funded by the elite?" Interfering with set plans, spreading doubt, disagreement, contradiction, suspicion, poor judgment, haphazard planning. So this is like what I was thinking about earlier today. This is like the guys, the kind of guys that are out there, the doormat or dominator, the DOD. The only type of guys and women are interested in are either, hyper, the real toxic masculine, which they only see as masculine. So they just see masculinity as one thing. And some people see it as toxic, some people see it as not, or whatever, or some of the time it is. But like they see, most women, like if they like masculinity, they like toxic masculinity. And if they don't, and what they call toxic masculinity is actually not the toxic a lot of the time. It's like you're speaking, you've been wronged, or you're saying why you're angry. If you're angry for a good reason, if you're angry for a righteous reason, you expect to be heard. Expect someone to hear you out and understand where you're coming from. And um, it's like if they can't do that, if they just dismiss you right away just because you're pissed, you know, that just makes it worse. And so yeah, this to me this is represents the doormat or dominator type, and how basically what I was thinking about before is that there's a lot of really natural women out there who really do like they start off really having the right idea and about sex and love and relationships and stuff, and then they actually have starting to go on a more spiritual path and really understand who they truly are and regain their power against authority and religion and stuff. And but then it's almost like they don't even stand a chance, even if they're well-meaning, because now it's like they're attractive, so then they attract every bug under the sun. It's going to be every idiot, every moron. This is the thing. This is where my empathy for women does come in, because it's like I also know that when you're an attractive woman is going to be attractive to every guy out there. And every moron and every jackass you can imagine is going to be just as into her as you, and they're going to get to her first and tell her all the wrong things. And it's almost like you can't do anything about it, because when I say they're going to get to her first, because, oh, you should have had a better line, you should have had a better way of approaching. No, they got to her. They got to her when she was before she was 7 years old. If it wasn't trauma, it was information poisoning that took place. All the biggest assholes have already gotten into, your favorite gal's head, and that's the thing that is the crusher. And that, like, my journey has been all about confronting this. And I see other guys whose journey ought to be about the same thing, because of the lessons you learned and the things that you need to learn that are going to help you and going to help women and going to help everybody. And you don't want to learn them, and you want to just manipulate them into, a relationship because you're told, that's how you get your foot in the door, and you get your foot in the door, and then you're sold for life, and then you're the fake persona for life, but you were already fake to begin with, so it was no problem. It was easy for you. It's easy for you if you're a fake ass bitch. That's why when you hear a lot of inauthentic, socially engineered women say, oh, you just got to be confident. You just got to be authentic. You just got to be strong. You got to really step back and say, like, they don't know what any of that really is. And you probably, you may very well be all those things, and they don't see it. Because they don't understand the meaning of those things. So the opposite of weakness is strength, for them. Putting up with shit, following orders, doing what you're told, never speaking up about what you really feel. That makes you a strong man. Repression makes you strong. Like, what kind of insanity is floating around in your mind? That's you. So basically, the asshole guys ruin her mind, and then she goes around ruining everyone else's mind because she's just like them now. And you're a dick. Guy that knows the truth, or guy that, values the truth, and guy that values freedom, and guy that values free expression and consciousness, Screw you, guy. So I so then they let them take over, let them run amok. They're just making a disaster for themselves. It's their own funeral. And of course, it's like, and there's a lot of people that I have tremendous amount of respect for in this community, but I mean, a lot of us got to remember we're connected to these people, and that their ignorance is our enslavement, and that our apathy and our lack of action and our not taking action is not helping us create the world that we want to see. Because one of the things I had to learn is that the world is not, I already thought the world was the way I thought it should be, and it's not. You think the world should be the way it is because you have now the vision for how it could be and how it should be. So you have to help make the world that way. From it starting off being not that way, being the total opposite. And that is the challenge before the whole human race.